And it usually starts before we know it. Hello, everybody. Brenni Larson and
Shelly Turner, previously known as the Builderall Diva, but we're going to be called today the Builderall Diva.
Just a note, you cannot totally see what you're building and still be productive and build.
Right. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? It does not have to be perfect.
Shelly Builderall Diva Turner. Diva. The diva deserved it. So I was in this other group and I was watching and people were really questioning about webinars. So I posted and said, what kind of webinars do you want to learn about? Do you want to learn about Evergreen? Do you want to learn about how to do a webinar where it's live and you lead the people there and it creates an Evergreen? And Evergreen was overwhelmingly the #1 choice. So we decided to how to create your Evergreen webinar and launch. And we could say after this, but we'll say today, tomorrow, really quickly. So I'm going to zip out of here. Shelly's going to take it away. I'll keep my eye on the comments, guys. You're in for Shazam. All right, Shelly, take it away and share the screen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brenni. I appreciate it. And we're going to just kind of jump in and start talking about what we're going to cover today. But before I get started, I definitely want to say a huge thank you to Brenni. She's done a lot of work to put all this together for you and make sure that you've got the exact right information to understand what Evergreen webinars are and then how you can build these Evergreen webinars so you can promote your product or your service or your coaching or whatever thing that you have that you want to promote. So I am super excited to be here with Brenni. And you know, Brenni is a founding member. She's one of the first people, the first group to join Builderall on that very first year that it hit the United States. And she's conducted summits, she's organized different meetings, she's done all kinds of trainings, and she's actually played a really important role in the foundation of the community of Builderall. So it's always a great opportunity to get to work with Brenni when we're doing something like this because she comes jam-packed with lots of ideas and lots of input on how to pull off something like a summit or something like a webinar or a meeting. So if you guys are looking for somebody to talk to about how to build an Evergreen webinar, why would you build an Evergreen webinar, you can definitely talk to Brenni. She is the expert in-house and she'll be able to help you as much as she can to get you up and running for sure. She's also a certified partner in Builderall. She's an ambassador in Builderall, and I like to call her a summit master because she did some amazing summits in Builderall, and I'm sure there's many more coming that she's going to work with. So super excited to be working with her on this project and even more excited to get in deep into the weeds with you on what we can do with Evergreen webinars. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm actually a top 10 affiliate with Builderall, and I'm also considered a black belt. That means that I've earned over 100K with Builderall as an affiliate. I'm also a leader in the company. I'm on the leadership team, and I am a certified partner. I'm an ambassador, and I'm a certified agency owner. So all of those things, the only thing they really mean is that I'm just considered a super user of Builderall. And why am I a super user? Because Builderall is a super platform. And I'm going to show you a little bit about Builderall today to give you an idea of how fast you can actually create these Evergreen webinars with our platform. So what are we going to learn today? So today we're going to talk about how to create these Evergreen webinars really, really quickly. I'm going to show you how you can capture leads so that you can use those leads to be able to market to after the webinar, even if they don't purchase our product right during the webinar or right after the webinar. You'll still have this email list that you can market to on and on throughout the ages if they stay on your list. I'll also teach you how to create the Evergreen specific Evergreen webinar. And we'll talk more about what that is in just a few minutes. And then I'm going to show you how you can get your message out to them, to people all over the internet perpetually, as in it will run on and on and on, and you'll have to do very little to keep it running. That's the exciting thing about Evergreen webinars. So let's jump right into it. So when we jump into the webinar, First, let's talk about what a webinar is. What is it? And you guys are seeing one right now, but what's the value in it? Well, first of all, we are in a digital world. There's no doubt about it. People have their phones all the time. Here's mine right here. It's never very far from me. It definitely needs to be cleaned off a little bit, but it's never very far from me. And I've always got it handy looking at stuff. I watch webinars on my phone. I watch trainings on my phone. I actually do a lot of things on my phone. Like I do webinars on my phone, or I do things like TikTok, or even some training, even some mindset stuff right from my phone. So we live in a digital world, and you as a part of that need to kind of step up your game if you want to try to participate in getting your message out. Whether you're trying to sell a product, you're selling a service, you're providing coaching, whatever it is, if you're not in the digital space, it's going to be a lot harder, because the digital space is kind of where everything is at right now. It's spelled wrong on here, but this is a critical tool for business. When we talk about webinars, webinars are a critical tool because you're going to be able to step out into that digital space. And here's a really important thing that you need to understand. They're going to see you. They're going to relate to you. There's something called KLT, a know, like, and trust factor. And webinars help speed up that process of developing that KLT, because in a webinar, you get to know a person. You can decide pretty quickly if you like them based on the way they speak, their body language, all that kind of stuff. And then through the webinar, they're working with you to try to develop trust, and trust to the point where they're willing to whip out that credit card and buy something from you. So a webinar kind of speeds up that process. The old way, the email way, you have to keep sending out emails, and you'd have to put value in the emails, and hopefully they kept up with your emails and they read your emails, and slowly but surely you develop a KLT. But with webinars, it is so fast and so furious, and you can develop that KLT in one webinar to the point where they are willing to spend their money with you because they know you, they like you, and they trust you. So this is a critical tool for business these days. And when we talk about Rona, mean old Rona, right, the COVID-19, we're talking about now because of social distancing and masking requirements and all those other things, and people are losing their job. They are looking for something as a solution, and you can provide it using this digital platform. So even though Rona is, I would categorize Rona as an old meanie, right? But the reality is that you guys have never been in a better position in this digital world to meet the people that you want to be able to buy your product, buy your service, or buy your coaching. So this is the time to take advantage of things like webinar to get your message out to your potential clients. And then another thing that a webinar does is it allows you to leverage your authority. So just by me being on this webinar and me speaking to you, I am seen as an authority. Now, as we go through the webinar, my authority, starts here. And then as I share information and you realize, oh, she's kind of smart, my authority goes up a little bit. And a little bit further into the webinar, wow, she's really smart. And my authority goes up a little bit more because I know what I'm talking about. I'm presenting about something that I absolutely love, which is Builderall webinars and funnels. So you'll see my excitement and my authority keeps increasing. And then the last thing, and I think this is the critical part, it's the eyeball to eyeball thing. And when I do training, a lot of times I'll say, let me see your eyeballs. And it's because I want you to see into me, into my eyeballs, to see how calm I am, to see how sure of myself I am, to see how sure I am of whatever it is I'm teaching, so that you feel that calmness, you feel that confidence that you're getting good information. And if you can do that on a webinar, you will develop that KLT so they're ready to purchase from you because they know you, they like you, they've seen in your eyeballs, and they trust you. So all of those things combine to create a really good webinar. So let's look at the next item. So what's an evergreen webinar? Because there's different types of webinars, and what we're going to focus on today is the evergreen webinar. So an evergreen webinar is perpetually relevant. What does that mean? That means that once you create an evergreen webinar and you get everything up onto the internet and you open the gate and let it flood through, most of the time with an evergreen webinar, you don't really have to do anything once you get it up and running. It actually maintains itself unless you need to update information or something. But the way it's all set up, it's all automated and it runs. It doesn't need your help. It doesn't need your babysitting. That's the beauty of an evergreen webinar. It is perpetually relevant, meaning it's perpetually there and the information you put in there is perpetually relevant. It's not, the information you have in there is not going to change over time. It is sustainable and lasting. So we're still talking about the fact that it keeps up and doesn't change, and it's relevant, and it will last as long as it needs to last to be able to continue to get you leads and even sell your products, services, or your coaching. The other thing is one and done. So with this particular webinar right here, I could actually take this recording, and once I'm done, I only did the webinar once, but I could put it up into an evergreen webinar and it could run constantly for me. So it looks like it's me live all the time, when in actuality, it was me live only one time, and then the rest of the time it's actually recording. But it's still relevant information, and it can last forever and ever as long as that information stays relevant. I also love this part. You set it, and you make sure everything's automated, and then you forget it. You just let it work for you. I love that. And especially if you're selling products or you're selling services or coaching, these are great things to put out there. And imagine if you could do one of these webinars exactly like what we're doing today. If you could do one of these a month, by the end of the year, you would have 12 webinars working on autopilot for you to sell your products or your services or your coaching. So that's how valuable these evergreen webinars really are. And then the last piece, and this part's really important, when you do an evergreen webinar and you get a lead and possibly a customer, the next most important thing is the follow-up. And you can actually automate follow-up as well through an email autoresponder system, which we actually have in Builderall as well. And I'll kind of give you a sneak peek of that today too. So that is the evergreen webinar. It is a perpetual webinar that runs where you set it and forget it. So now let's talk about a webinar blueprint. Like, how hard is this to actually create? So I'm going to increase the size of this a little bit so you can see it better. And we'll kind of scroll down. And there's that trusty little blueprint. Now in Builderall, we can make these blueprints really easy with the Cheetah Funnel Builder. And that's exactly where I built this one. And I'm going to show you exactly how I built it. But for now, I'm going to just talk about the different pages that we have inside of a webinar. This is one of the simplest funnels that you can build, and this is a funnel. When we talk about a funnel, it's a type of website that guides the visitor on a path to every single page you want them to go to, okay? This is not a website where they get to pick and choose where they want to go. This is a website that you choose where you want them to go, and there's really no other path that they can take. That's a funnel. That is a funnel. So it's a type of website that we say, all right, Mr. Client, you're going to go to this page, then you're going to go to this page, then you're going to go to this page, then you're going to go to this page. Then there's just not really many choices that they have. It's a very specific path that you want them to take. So the first place that we want them to go is actually to the webinar registration page. And you saw one of those already when you filled out the registration form to come to this webinar. It's a simple page. It doesn't have to be complicated. And that page includes an opt-in form to give your email and your name. And sometimes they'll ask you for your phone number. Sometimes they'll ask for additional information. But you fill that information out and then you click submit and you are registered for that webinar. So that's the importance of that webinar registration page. Now, sometimes the pages can be just a sign-up page. Sometimes those pages might have a lead magnet associated with them. So lead magnet might be something like an ebook or a report or a checklist, something simple that if you give them your name and your email, they will give you an ebook, a report, or a checklist. So today we're just going to do the simple opt-in page so you can see how that works. But we actually have funnels pre-created in Builderall that also have lead magnets associated with them. So you want to take a look at what we have in Builderall. It is amazing, and you're going to be shocked when we start putting this webinar funnel together. So the webinar registration page is the very first page that your client's going to hit. And on that page, they'll fill out the form. And once they fill out the form, they're going to hit the webinar indoctrination page. Now that sounds like highfalutin and kind of scary and kind of official, but all it means is you're giving them the information they need about the webinar. So on that page, you're going to say, don't forget, webinar starts Tuesday at 5 p.m. Here's the link for it. Don't forget to check your email. So it's a really simple page that talks about the webinar itself, and then you can even add information about your guest speakers, who's hosting, all those kinds of things, and you can give them instructions on what they need to do before the webinar starts. So let's say you want to give a questionnaire that they have to fill out before the webinar starts. You can have it on that indoctrination page. You can have them download it, and they can fill it out before the webinar even starts. So the indoctrination page is just a great way to give information to your client before the webinar starts on all the information about the webinar, and then any additional information you want them to know before the webinar starts. So that's the indoctrination page. And then once the webinar starts, they'll either click a button on the indoctrination page to go straight to the webinar, or if it's a timed webinar, they'll get an email, and in that email, there'll be a link, and that link will take them to the webinar broadcast page. That's the page where you're actually broadcasting the webinar. So that's where the live webinar is at, and you're seeing people at that webinar. You can have a chat there so that during the webinar, people can chat with each other, and you can participate or have a virtual assistant help you with the chat. So the webinar broadcast page is the actual location that the live webinar is going to happen. And what's cool about the webinar broadcast page is that you can just flat out do a webinar, and then at the end have a button that they can click. But you can also do a webinar and then have things pop up during the webinar that they can click. So if they want to buy early and get a discount, you can get rid of that button, and they can buy late and not get the discount. You can do ghost users so that you can have people popping into the webinar and saying, wow, I really like that idea. And they're not really people on the webinar. That's to prompt engagement for the people that are there. So ghost users are another really cool thing that we can do on our webinar broadcast page. The other really cool thing we can do is integrate with Facebook Messenger, and you can actually set it up so an evergreen webinar is integrated with Facebook Messenger. So if somebody is attending your webinar at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're in a different country sitting on the beach with your phone, and they have a question, they can type that question in, and you will actually get a message on your phone while you're on the beach for that question, and you can answer them right back, right from the beach while you're drinking Mai Tais. So it's absolutely fabulous what you can do with our platform. So that live broadcast page has a lot of functionality. And then from there, you can choose to either send them to another funnel once the webinar is completed, or you can send them to the sales page for the product, service, or coaching that you're offering for that webinar. So that's the basic structure, the most simple structure for a webinar funnel. And that is the webinar registration page, the webinar indoctrination page, and the webinar broadcast page. So I really am telling you that this complicated, oh my gosh, I can't figure it out funnel is only 3 pages long. That's absolutely insane. So let's go ahead and take a look, because it says it's actually easier. It's even easier than it looks. With 3 pages, it's even easier with Builderall than it looks. So let's jump in and actually create a webinar funnel with these pages, and we'll look at some functionality of it as well and kind of play with it a little bit so you can see how easy it is to set it up. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into my dashboard. Builderall. Actually, my actual dashboard, which is really exciting. And these are the tools that are listed on my dashboard. So each one of these cards represent a different tool that I have available inside of Builderall. And there are actually 40 plus tools now inside of Builderall. But we're going to focus mainly on Cheetah Funnel Builder and the Cheetah Website Builder and Mailing Boss. Those are the 3 main things that you need to use for setting up your webinar funnel. And then, of course, the Webinar Builder to be able to build your webinar. So let's take a look first at an amazing platform we had called the Cheetah Funnel Builder. This is amazing because it allows you to create your blueprint. And then once you get your blueprint made, you can click a button and it creates the whole website for you. So I'm going to blow your mind a little bit. At least I hope I am. I hope that I'm going to hear minds just kind of blowing all over the place, because nobody has a platform that can do this. And this is absolutely amazing. So I'm just going to go up into my apps area, and then I'm going to go over here to the Cheetah Funnel Builder. When I click that, it's going to take me into our Cheetah Funnel Builder. And from here, I can actually just create a new funnel. So I'm going to go click this button where it says Add Funnel. And we're going to call this the webinar training. And from here, I have some themes that I can choose. So I can click the down button. And because I bet most of you guys watching are probably in the coaching arena. So for the theme, I'm just going to create the coach funnel. So that's the design of it, is a coach type website funnel. So I'm going to choose the coach funnel, and then I'm going to click create funnel. So now it's taken me into the Cheetah Funnel Builder, and there's not a thing there. And that's because I now have to start building my blueprint. The exact thing I just showed you a minute ago, we're going to start building inside of the Cheetah Funnel Builder. So I'm just going to click the Start the Funnel. And now I get to choose how I want to build it. So it gives me choices of pages, but it also gives me choices of existing pre-configured blueprints. This is the magic of the funnel builder, because inside of the blueprints, there's an area called webinar. So when it pulls up that area, there are 2 different webinars that you can choose from: a product launch webinar or just a regular webinar funnel. I'm going to choose just the regular webinar funnel. So I'm going to click the plus button. And now that exact funnel you just saw me go through on the image in the presentation, it has pulled into my blueprint. Everything that was there that I just showed you, it pulled it in there automatically. That's one of the amazing things about the Cheetah Funnel Builder. So this looks almost ready to go. There's a little bit of configuration. So on each one of these pages, if I click on the page and then right click, I get some options over here on the right-hand side on some things that I can do with this page. So with this page, I can rename it. I can preview what it looks like, or I can choose a different design. I can also designate if this page is my home page, which I'm going to say this. So I'm going to check mark that. And then I can create a pop-up for this page. Those are the things that pop up when you first show up on a website. I can do a split test, meaning I can create 2 different versions of a page. And when people visit, they'll either get this version or they'll get that version. And then people that actually fill out the form to join your webinar, it will keep track of which page does best. And then you can actually keep that page that does best for your webinar. And then we've also got tags. So as people are coming into your website, you can tag them to see, okay, they landed on the registration page, but they never made it to the indoctrination page or the broadcast page. So you can see exactly what's happening with your traffic as they're coming to your website. So that's what tags do for you. With this registration page, I have a form. So I'm going to click on the form and then right click it. And now I have everything that I can do with that actual form. And remember, the form is to collect the name and the email. So I can name the form. So I'm going to just say a registration. Let me spell it right. Registration form. And now I can choose a list that exists already, a subscriber list, or I can create a new one from scratch by just clicking the create new list. I'm just going to click load list because I already have a ton of lists inside of my Mailing Boss, which is the email service that we use, the email autoresponder. So once I load my list, I just click the down button and choose one of my lists so that every time that form is filled out, that lead is going to go into that subscriber list. So we're connecting the website to the subscriber list. The next thing I need to do is configure the URLs. So what happens when they click that submit button? What actually happens? Well, first of all, there's a pending registration page. So if you've got what's called a double opt-in email list, that means that they have to do 2 things in order to be confirmed to be able to start receiving emails from you. The first thing you have to do is fill out the form. The second thing they have to do is go to their email and check their email and click the confirm button. That's a double opt-in list. And those are the types of lists you want. So in this form where it says pending registration, that's the page you want to send them to where they haven't confirmed yet with their email. So where do you want to send them to? In this particular case, I'm just going to send them to the indoctrination page. And then sign up confirmation is the page that we send them to once they go check their email and they click confirm. When they click confirm, I want them to go to the indoctrination page. And then we've got a third option, which is unsubscribe. So we could actually create a new page that says, so sorry to see you go. And if in their email they click unsubscribe, it will take them to that page that says, so sorry to see you go. So you can create an unsubscribe page as well. For training purposes, we're going to leave that one blank. So that's how we set up the URLs. And the next one is campaigns. This is where we can actually start creating our emails right inside of this Cheetah Funnel Builder. So I can click Load Campaigns. And then from here, I've got 3 emails. So I can load those emails, or I can create a brand new set of emails. So let's go ahead and create a brand new set of emails. So I'm going to click Create New Campaign. And we're going to call this Email Campaign. And we're going to send these emails out to everybody that's a future subscriber to our subscriber list. And let's go ahead and set 3 emails so that once they subscribe to our email list and register for the webinar, they're going to be sent 3 emails when they join. And those 3 emails, we get to decide when they go out. So once they join, we want one to go out immediately, which would be the welcome email. And then maybe one day later, we want another one to go out. And 2 days later, we want another one to go out. So we can actually decide exactly when those emails go out based on when they joined our subscriber list. Okay, so I'm going to say 3 emails, and then I'm going to click Save Changes. And so now what it does is it actually creates 3 emails. So I've got my email campaign here, and then 1, 2, 3 emails right there, ready to go. And now all I need to do is actually edit those emails. So to edit, I just click on the email and then right click, and that opens my side panel. So now I can click Edit Email, and it opens up the email dialog box so I can start editing my emails to say whatever I want it to say. And I have some amazing tools that allow me to pull in images into my email. I can do text blocks like side by side. I can do buttons. Let me find some buttons here. There we go. There's one with text, a button, and an image. So lots of things that we can do inside of this email editor to make our emails absolutely beautiful. These turn out beautifully when you kind of practice a little bit and see what all you can do. It's absolutely amazing. And then once you get your email exactly the way you want it, you just scroll down to the bottom and you click Save Changes. And now you just edited that email. So I did 1 email that fast, actually. So now I've got 2 more that I'd go in and edit to make sure they say exactly what I want them to say. So that's how you add the emails in. So now what we've done is we've configured the first page. We've configured the registration form. We've added 3 emails so that once they register, they'll get 3 emails in a sequence, and they'll go out on specific days. The second thing that we're going to work on is the webinar indoctrination page. So I'll click on that and then right click. When I right click, it tells me what I can do with that page on the right hand side. So on this side, I can rename the page if I want to. I can set it as the home page. I don't want to do that because I want the registration page as my home page. And I can set up a pop-up for this page, a split test, or tags. So I don't want to do any of those. Everything is fabulous with the indoctrination page. I'll have to go in and edit it later. We'll show you how to do that in just a bit. And then the last page I need to work with is the webinar broadcast page. So I'm going to click on the side of that and then right click, and that pulls up on the right hand side what all I can do with that page. And again, I can rename it. I can work with pop-ups, split test, or tags. But remember, the broadcast page is actually where we want that webinar to be live and in person. So below that page, we have the little webinar add-on. So I'm going to click on that and then right click. And now I can actually add my webinar that I configure inside of Builderall. So I can name my webinar right here. And then it says get URL of the webinar. Now here's the key. Now we're going to jump in and take a look at what it is to be able to create the webinar using the webinar platform. So we're in the Cheetah Funnel Builder. We're getting ready to jump out of the Cheetah Funnel Builder to work with the webinar platform. So I'm just going to click Get URL of Webinar. And that takes me, it opens a new window, and I'm going to go into the Webinar Builder. So now I'm actually in the Webinar Builder of Builderall. And I'm just going to go ahead and create a new webinar. So I'm going to click the plus button. And there's a couple of choices. I have the choice of streaming to YouTube or Facebook. We're not going to do that today, but that's an easy thing to do. I've got live on-demand webinars. That means you can actually add a webinar to a page, and it can be a live webinar, not a recorded webinar. We're not going to do that one today. Today, we're going to do the evergreen / scheduled webinar. So I'm going to check that one, and then I'm going to click next. And then I'm going to put the webinar name. So I'm going to put webinar training, and then I'm going to click next. And now it says create webinar. So I'm going to click that button, and it has now created the skeleton of the evergreen webinar. And now we get to go in and change some settings to make sure that everything is set up for this evergreen webinar. So the first area is the general area. It's got the name of the webinar. It also allows you to protect it with a password and choose the language. The second area is the content and the schedule. So right here, I can set it so that the content is a YouTube video, an iframe. I can upload a video. I can use our Builderall Video Manager. We actually allow you to upload videos to Builderall, and you can use that, or you can do a YouTube Live. I'm going to go ahead and do a YouTube video, and then I'm going to go and grab an amazing YouTube video. So let's see if we can find one. So youtube.com, and we'll click refresh, and refresh again. Oh, well, I didn't spell it right, so that's probably why. youtube.com. There we go. All right, good deal. And let's go ahead and go to the Builderall USA YouTube channel. And here's a Tuesday night training that is absolutely fabulous. So I'm just going to grab that link, and we're going to take it back to the webinar builder. So I've got the YouTube as the source, and then I'm going to put the video link in there. And then once the video is finished, where do you want them to go? You can actually put a URL in there. So I'm just going to send them to http://shellyturner.com/premium plan. So what that means is as soon as they're done with the webinar and the webinar stops playing, they will be forwarded to a different page, whatever URL I put in there. And this happens to be my website for signing up for the premium plan. So that's where they'll go after the end of that webinar. I can also enable text chat. So when I'm doing the webinar, when the webinar's running, do you want to enable text chat so people can chat beside the webinar? So I'm going to choose yes. And then from here, I can edit those ghost users, those people that are just ghosts, they don't really exist, but they're commenting on the video at specific times to help create engagement. And then I can actually schedule my webinar. And for this one, it says no repeat, but I can schedule for a specific time, a specific date, and repeat. So I've got this going for the 22nd, and we'll put, let's say 4:00 p.m. So, oh my gosh, let me see, find the 00. There we go, p.m. There we go. And the duration is 143 minutes, and I can repeat it every 4 hours. Let's see, hours. 4:00 it will start today, and then every 2 hours it's going to start again. So this is why it's an evergreen webinar, because it will just keep going and keep going and keep going and keep going. So that is the fascinating thing about these webinars. And then banners. I can add banners in here like buy now buttons. or even notifications, or I can put in funny pictures during my webinar, whatever I want to do. When I add a banner, I put the image up there, and then I just identify exactly when I want that image or banner to show. And I can have it show on top of the video. I can have it show on top of the chat. I can have it show below the video. I can choose exactly where I want that to go. So what's the value of this? The value is that you can do a buy now button in maybe the first 30 minutes of the webinar that says you're getting a special price right now. Buy it right now and you'll get a 50% discount. But this won't last long. If you don't do it in 15 minutes, you're going to miss out. And then at the end of 15 minutes, that button disappears and another button comes on with a very different price. You can actually do that with this webinar platform. Amazing stuff. So those are the banners. And then you've got webinar appearance. So you can actually kind of make it look exactly the way you want it to look. You can do a poster so that if the video is not quite ready to show, it's like a thumbnail that shows while you're waiting for the video to start. And then going down, you've got email settings. So once they register for your webinar, you can actually set it up so that automated emails go out to remind people about the webinar, and you can set those up right here. So that's another amazing thing that you can do with this platform. And then on the forms, you can actually add a new form and have people fill out forms directly on the webinar page. Since we've got a opt-in page already, we don't even have to do this on this page. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that as the settings, and everything is set up and good to go. So all I have to do now is get the embed code. That's the important thing. Once I actually get everything set, then all I have to do is get this first URL for the webinar and copy it. And now I can go back to the Cheetah Funnel Builder and I can click paste. And now this is actually ready to go. And I'll close this window and I'll click save. And everything is done now on this funnel. That's the amazing thing. You just created a very complicated web funnel, right? A webinar funnel, but you can do it. Honestly, if I wasn't teaching this, you could do it in about 10 minutes. And when everything's done and everything's working and everything's set up the way you want it, the next thing you do is click that button, generate site, and it will take everything you just created in this blueprint and it will actually make the whole website for you. It will take each one of these pages and create them. It will take the registration form and connect it to the Mailing Boss subscriber list, and it will put it on the page. It will take the email campaigns and put them into Mailing Boss and have them connected to this subscriber list. And it will take the webinar page and put in the actual link to the webinar so that when you're ready to go live, it's there like it should be. So this is an incredible thing that it does. When you click generate site, it takes everything on that page and creates a very real website for you. Also, if you remember, we chose a template. We chose the coaching template that has a design associated with it. So not only is it going to create the pages, but it's going to put some nifty design in there too. So what's left to do after you click the generate button? The only thing you have left to do is actually go in there and put your content. So you're going to put the pictures of you as the host. You're going to give information that you're going to put on the website about you, about the webinar. So you're going to add your content in there, and you're going to do any design editing that you want to do. But the bulk of building the website, building that funnel is all done. The next
Well, it looks like Shelly froze up. But guys, are you getting the power of this? So what is she doing? She is in the Cheetah Funnel Builder. The Funnel Builder has all these templates to build a funnel. I am helping the people. My niche is to help holistic and spiritual entrepreneurs get online. They don't understand all this flow stuff. Guess what? It's already done for you.
Yeah, I know. The done for you is great, right? So I'm going to go into
apps. Boom, she's back. I'm out. Bye.
Sorry about that. So I'm going to go to apps, and I'm going to go to the Cheetah Funnel Builder, or sorry, just the Cheetah Website Builder. And when this opens up, it's going to allow me to create a brand new website. And we're going to do something real similar to what we did with the Cheeto Funnel Builder. We're going to use pre-made pages, but instead of doing the blueprint, we're just going to create it on the fly. So I'm just going to go into create a new site, and I'm going to use the templates, right? So I'm going to choose templates. And then from here, we've got about a bazillion templates here. So I'm just going to start with, let's see. We're going to go, I think I picked the blue. Yeah, the blue. And from the blue, if I scroll down, you'll find that we've got some webinar blue themed pages. So let me see if I can find the webinar registration page, because that's the one that we want first. So there it is, the webinar registration page. So I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to confirm by clicking save. And now it's actually building my website for me, and it's going to throw me into the editor where I can start building. So I've got my webinar registration page, and I'm going to go ahead and click the settings, and I'm just going to rename that. So here we go. Webinar registration page and webinar registration page. And this is going to be the home page. So I'm going to call that yes, and then scroll down and save. And there's my webinar registration page. We'll take a good look at it in just a second. But remember, I need a webinar indoctrination page and a webinar broadcast page. So I'm just going to click new page. And then I'm going to say webinar indoctrination page. And we'll copy that and put it right here in the description. And then the title, webinar indoctrination page. Fabulous. And scroll down. And down here where it says page template, I'm going to choose, instead of a blank page, instead of my pages, I'm going to choose a page template. And what that's going to do is open up the ability to grab a template that already exists. So I'm going to choose select, and then under search, I'm going to type in webinar. I'm going to spell it right. There we go. And under webinar, I'm going to find that blue page and look for the indoctrination page. So there it is right there. I'm going to click that. And then I'm going to, and it says select the page that you want to use, blue theme, webinar indoctrination page, and save. So bam, I've got the second page. And now I'm just going to do the exact same thing to get my third page, which is the webinar broadcast page. So I'm going to click create new page. And this is the webinar broadcast page. And the title is webinar broadcast page. And then the description, we'll just put webinar broadcast page. And again, I'm going to go all the way to the bottom of this, and I'm going to click page templates. And there's where my templates are at. And I'm going to select, and I'm going to filter out for webinar. And I'm going to scroll down until I find the blue one. And there's my broadcast page. So I'm going to click on that one. And then I'm going to select that exact page and scroll down and click save. And now I have all three of my pages already added. This is absolutely incredible. So the next thing I need to do is just go into those pages and start editing. So I'm going to open the registration page first. So I'm going to click edit. And we'll get a good look at what these pages look like now, which is really exciting. So you can see right here, I've got a little bit of detail, some content that I need to put in. But right here, I can change the date and the time of the webinar. And then here's our opt-in form. I can also create my own video to talk about this webinar. You know, say something like, I'm so excited. I can't wait for you to show up on the webinar on Tuesday at 4 o'clock. It's going to be amazing. Oh, and I just made some money. Yay, Builderall. But right here, this is the opt-in form. And all I have to do with this is connect it to the right list. So I'm going to click on this little star button. And that pulls up all of my subscriber lists. And it might take a second because I have a lot of them. So I'm going to pick the right list and click save. That is now connected. And then I'm going to go ahead and set my links. Remember, I have to say what happens when they click the submit button. So I'm going to click that little chain. And for the pending page, I'm going to set it to the indoctrination page. So I click page, and then I click indoctrination. and select. And then for the subscription confirmed, that means they go to their email and they click confirm. I'm going to set it to the same page, the indoctrination page. So page, indoctrination, and select. And then the unsubscribe, I'm just going to leave it unconfigured right now. And then I'm going to click save. So now, believe it or not, everything is done as far as connecting. All I have to do now is just put some content in there, and this is ready to go. It's that simple. So I'm going to click save on that. And then that's fine to publish. And now this page is actually published and ready to go. So I can close this page and go to the next page. So I'll close down this page. We'll go to the webinar indoctrination page. So I'm going to click edit. And then from here, I'm going to see what content we have. So I can change that content. If I want to put a pre-webinar video there, I can. If I don't want a video, I can take it out. And then I have information about the webinar, and I can do a button here. So I can actually change this button so that they can click it and go straight to the webinar page. So let's go ahead and change that. So I'm going to take this button and I'm going to go to configure it. So we'll go to headline and say join webinar now. Join webinar now. Here we go. So now we've changed the button to say the right thing, and now I'm going to configure it to go to the webinar broadcast page. So I'm going to click the set link, and I'm going to choose the page, and then I'm going to click broadcast page and select. And now all I have to do is just put the information on there of what I want for the indoctrination. So I'm going to tell them about the guest speaker, about what the webinar is about, all this stuff that I want to tell them, what they need to do before the webinar. Do they need to fill out a checklist or fill out a form? All that goes on this indoctrination page. And then you can actually have a timer here too that tells them how much longer they have to go before the webinar starts. Once you get that entire page configured with your content, then you're going to click save. And now that page is done. And I'm going to go ahead and publish it. And then we'll actually close this page since it's done. So I'll close that down. And then I'm going to do the last page, which is the webinar broadcast page. So I'm going to edit that page. And this is where the actual broadcast is, whether it's a recorded broadcast or a live broadcast. It doesn't matter. So you can put your content in there. You've already got an iframe showing up right here, which is where your video is going to be. And then it's got a timer actually to let the viewer of the webinar know when the offer will expire, and then a buy now button so you can send them to a checkout if you want to, or something like that. So you can configure all of that the exact way you want it to be. So we're going to go into this iframe right here. I'm going to click on it and get the settings on the side, and I'm going to go to the general settings. And now all I need to do is get the link, the URL to our webinar, right? The webinar that we created a little while ago. So if you remember, that's right here where we created it. So I'm going to get this link and copy it, and then come back over here and drop it into the embed URL. And then I'm going to actually click save. And now that is ready to go. And that's all I need to do besides putting that content in about the webinar, and then where I want them to go during or after the webinar. If I want them to buy a product or go to a different website or go to an offer page. But that page is actually essentially ready. So in just a matter of a couple minutes, we were able to pull in beautiful pages, do some basic configuration to get it all connected. And now all we have to do is put content in there, and it's actually ready to go. Now I want to show you how this works. So I'm going to close this page, and then I'm going to go back to my Cheetah where I was building, and I'm going to click republish to make sure everything's published and ready to go. And then on that home page, I'm going to click this triple dots, and go to website. And this is what our website is looking like right now without any real content changes. We've just kind of connected everything. So the first thing is to put your email in. So I'm going to go ahead and put an email in. So I'm going to put test@builderalldiva.com. And then I'm going to click get instant access. That should take us to the indoctrination page. So let's see what. Here we go. There it is. So there's the indoctrination page, right? And so they learn when the webinar is supposed to be happening and all this other kind of stuff. And now I'm going to click the button to join the webinar now. When I click that, it's going to take me to the webinar broadcast page. I'm going to put my name in. There we go. And send. And now it tells me that the next webinar is going to start in 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 40 seconds. So how cool is that, right? In just a matter of a couple minutes, we built a webinar funnel 2 different ways in Builderall, which is really exciting. So I want to leave you with one other thing that I really want you to look at now that you've seen kind of how easy it is to build the webinars, especially the evergreen webinars. I want you to see a demo of some of the other things that we can do inside of Builderall. So I want you to go to demo, D-E-M-O, demo.builderall.com. Write that down. That's your homework for tonight. Demo.builderall.com. And what you're going to see on that website is an example of so many other things that we can do in Builderall. So on each one of the pages, it's going to tell you what type of page it is, what the function of the page is, and then just follow all the instructions, and you'll be able to go completely through that funnel and see not just the webinars that we can do, but also how we hook up email, send out automated email messages, how you can use Telegram, and so many other tools that we have inside of Builderall. So again, that's demo.builderall.com. Check that one out. And I'm going to go back to my presentation, which is somewhere over here. Fabulous. And let's see if we can catch up. So we already talked about the funnel. We built it 2 different ways. Let's go to the next step. And remember that we can do it 2 different ways in Builderall. We looked at the Cheetah Funnel Builder, which is building the blueprint and then clicking the button to create the website. Or you can actually go in manually and create each one of the pages using templates and then edit those templates and put your content in. So those are the 2 ways that we worked with building it today. So the next thing is some things to remember when you're building websites. And let me kind of make this a little bit smaller so you can see it better. Here we go. So here's some things to remember. Remember on your first webinar that you do, it's okay to be perfectly imperfect. Okay, I'm going to give you permission to be perfectly imperfect. You're going to run into issues that you didn't expect. You're going to have technical issues. You're going to pull up a page and you're like, well, that's not what I was meaning to show you. It's okay. Everything is going to happen like that, and just roll with it. Do the best you can, and don't let it stress you, because everybody starts out perfectly imperfect. In fact, I'm still perfectly imperfect when I do webinars, but I have a high level of confidence because I've done so many now that I can actually roll with just about anything that happens. And remember also that all of this that we did today looks really easy, and it is, but it still takes time. It still takes time to get in there, and actually building the pages, easy. Getting the template designs in there, easy. The hard part is actually when you're building those pages to put the right content in there. So again, give yourself permission to take the time to do it and do it as best you can. I wish there was one button you could push and everything would be done for you, but there's no way we can do that. So you do have to put the time in to create a really good webinar and good content to get people to sign up for your webinar. Remember that practice makes perfect. If you really want to do webinars, you want to do coaching, or you want to sell products through webinars, or you want to sell services through webinars, do it over and over and over again. Don't ever let one webinar and one bad experience stop you. You want to keep going so you can keep getting better and better and better. And remember, it's okay to be perfectly imperfect. Also remember that when you're doing a webinar, anybody that comes into your webinar, the follow-up with them is the single most important thing. So you want to make sure that you've got not only an email follow-up so that they're getting emails from you after the webinar, but then you also want to make sure that you're staying in touch with them, talking about yourself, your business, and your products, so that you can keep them warm. So when they might want to buy something from you, right? That goes all the way back to that know, like, and trust factor. Keeping in touch with them will keep that KLT up for you. And then what matters the most? What matters the most is that you keep doing it, and you keep working on it, and you keep getting better at it. That's what matters the most, because if this is a tool that you really want to use, you'll be able to use it with practice, even if the first time maybe didn't go so well. So keep using it, keep growing, keep working.
You know, Shelly, wouldn't it be fun to see everybody's first webinar? To give you permission that, I mean, forget to hit record. I did a complete super awesome feng shui training. I was so proud of myself. Guess what? I forgot to go on screen. And they were sitting there. I could see the number of people, and I could see like 85 people hung out the entire time. They liked the music. I had very relaxing music. And I'm like, so I learned not to do that. I learned not to do that one again.
We've all done it for sure. So what's the best way to get started in building webinars for your business? So the first thing you need to do is decide what are you doing a webinar for? It's not good enough just to say, I'm going to do webinars today. You have to figure out, why are you doing a webinar? Are you doing it because you're selling a product? Are you doing it because you are offering a service? Are you doing it because you are coaching people? Whatever it is, decide that first. Don't do it just because you can do it. You have to have an end goal, which is selling a product, selling a service, or selling your coaching.
So I have an example then. So like one of the ladies that's watching right now and messaging me quite a bit, she's an astrologer. She's just gotten into Builderall, and it was like her first week. And this is like divine, perfect timing for her, this webinar training. So give an example of how somebody who's an astrologer, where there's tons of information. And
this is such a great platform, because I'll give you a perfect example. I am so right-brained, science-oriented, and math-oriented. I really am. But I know diddly squat about astrology. Zip, zero, nada. About the only thing I know is that I'm a Virgo. That's it. So
I like you so much.
So for somebody to go out there and do webinars on astrology, and do maybe some basic introduction to astrology that would lead somebody like me into purchasing a more advanced course, that would be phenomenal, right? Can you imagine doing an astrology webinar that said, something like, for all you Virgos out there that want to know why you're having a hard time with your mate, and do a basic webinar about that. And then at the end, you can say something like, I have a ton of courses on astrology that will not only help you get along better with your mate, but also help you get along better with your coworkers, and help you understand what days of the year are better for you. All those things that you can offer as someone that can teach astrology, and you can offer that for a price, right? So you could do some basic value inside of a webinar, and then have increased value for sale. So there's a wide open area for that. So you would be perfect for that. Oh my gosh. And with the webinar tool, you could actually go live and do some really short 15-20 minute value trainings, and then invite them to the webinar, then do a little bit longer live or recorded webinar, and then invite them to buy the more advanced training. Seriously, you are poised perfectly for that. So check that out, because I think there's a lot of opportunity
you can use. Right now, Mars and Mercury are retrograde, which how I would explain to Shelly is like, okay, man, there's going to be all kinds of stress and communication issues, like computers, cars, webinars, whatever, listening to each other. And so how could she use, like, what's happening right now? How can she benefit using the email sequencing, the tags? Kind of explain how she can get this out to her list, but then kind of segment it off when it's super.
I think there's so much potential. It's only limited to your imagination. So Mercury and Mars in retrograde. Shelly knows nothing about Mercury and Mars in retrograde. All I know is that craziness ensues. That's the only thing I know. So as a person that would know about that and understand how to get through Mercury, Mars, and retrograde, you could do some live trainings through our webinar platform to live stream to Facebook, to YouTube, or both. So you do really quick, short bursts of, are you having internet problems? Let's talk about Mercury and Mars in retrograde. And so do a quickie training. And from there, invite them to sign up for your webinar, right? So that means you're going to get them on your email list. When they're on your email list, you start emailing them about Mercury and Mars in retrograde, right? Give them little bitty snippets. Doesn't have to be long, doesn't have to be all your value, just a little bit of value. But at the end of that value, you say, don't forget about the webinar coming up. Don't forget, right? So you've got this automated sequence of emails that's going out. Then whatever date you decide for your webinar, you hold that webinar. And you talk deeper about Mercury, Mars, and retrograde. What does it mean? How does it affect your business? How does it affect your personal life? Whatever. But give some value there. And then at the end of that, say, if you got value out of this, I would love to offer you coaching or further training on astrology. Here's the packages that are available. Knock yourself out, pick what you want. So there's, again, that is the perfect format for you, is quickie lives, get them to sign up for your webinar. Then you've got them on your email list, be bombing them with emails, reminding them about Mercury and Mars and retrograde and be on this webinar. And then on the webinar, show them what you know, and then get them to buy some more advanced stuff. What do you think,
Pain point. They're suffering. How can you help them? That's what it's all about, right, Shelly? People do it the wrong way. I can help you with, I can help her get online and help the people she's supposed to help with this tool. That's what I do.
That's right. That's exactly it.
And right now we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we are on the website page live, the webinar broadcast page. And I'm recording this, so we can always edit it later. If you follow me at all, I'm just like, let's just get her done, get the information out there. Got my makeup on. Shelly knows it's my blue glasses. I got ready for class.
So once you've decided what product or service, or if you're going to do coaching, then you have to look at it and say, is webinar the real way that I want to deliver this information, right? And with this person we were just talking to with astrology, man, to me, that would be perfect. Yeah. And then if you're still not sure, go find other people that are doing webinars. They're all over the place. This is a huge medium to be able to get business growing. So find other people, see how they're doing it. Watch that process. Be totally present in the process of signing up, seeing what kind of emails they send out. How long is it between when you signed up to when the webinar is happening? Because that's huge too. You don't want to say sign up for a webinar and the webinar is a month later. So look at what other people are doing and mimic them. Figure it out by watching other people, right?
We didn't create any of this. You just model other people, exactly. like Bob Proctor. I'm sorry, guys. He didn't create it. He just got the word out and is, famous for it. So you don't copy people. That's not cool. You got to put your own spin on things. Now, I could not copy Shelly because we're so different. I'm wild and crazy and a clicker. You can ask her. Stop clicking. What? Shelly's more thorough. She's more thorough, micro on macro. So it's like the yin and the yang of it. Okay, next.
The other thing you can do is if it's too daunting and you're like, gosh, even 3 pages, Shelly, I'm not real sure about it. We have tremendously intelligent people in Builderall called certified partners, and they can actually help you if you want to hire them. We've also got people on Fiverr. If you look up on Fiverr, look up Builderall, there's a ton of people that build on Fiverr for a very reasonable price. And we're talking about a 3-page website, you guys. So they would do it for a very reasonable price, not very much at all. So if you want that done for you, where you're just a little bit worried about doing it yourself, find somebody in Builderall that can do it, spend a little bit of money. It's either going to take you time or money or both. So you just got to figure out how you're going to split it.
Right.
And then what plan do you have? So what's the plan that you want to accomplish with the webinar? Do you want to just be seen and heard? Or do you want to actually try to sell something? Because if you're trying to sell something, then every single thing you do needs to point towards getting someone to buy that thing from you. So you're going to have emails that go out that are warming them up to get ready to get an offer. And when you do your webinar, you go through and give the value of the webinar, but you're warming them up and trying to establish that KLT, know, like, and trust. when they're about their card because they know you, they like you, and they trust you.
I feel like
So
we're on TikTok. We just did a TikTok. As you were saying it, I was doing the.
That's awesome.
You guys, do you see though how this is such a valuable training? I mean, the information you're putting out, it's just mind blowing. But you guys, you can still have fun and joke around because life was meant to be fun. Everyone's too serious, you know. So we want to have fun but be productive.
Very true. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. The next one is thank you so much for letting me be here with you guys today. Thank you, Brenni, for inviting me. And I just want you to remember that Builderall has everything we talked about today. Make sure you go through that demo funnel. That's at demo.builderall.com. And if you've not signed up for Builderall yet, contact Brenni, get her link, and sign up today. And let me tell you why I want you to sign up today. Because if you sign up today and get that premium plan, right? Premium plan, you're going to be automatically upgraded to the Funnel Club. The Funnel Club has over 300 funnel templates. It also has 30 chatbot templates and about a bazillion other things that you can't even imagine until you get in there and take a look. So if you get the premium plan today, that's $69.90 per month. That is, let me tell you something, that is crazy low for what all you get in Builderall. $69.90 per month. You're going to get automatically upgraded to the Funnel Club. You will thank me later. I can guarantee you that. So remember that Builderall is so much more than just webinars, 40 plus tools, and you definitely want to get that premium plan before November the 1st so you can get automatically upgraded to the biggest plan we have, which is the Funnel Club. And that's really all that I have for you today. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Well, they've been zipping around and I've been answering on Facebook and on YouTube. Everybody's really excited. And I know they would be excited, Shelly, just because there's nothing else out there like this. Shelly knows I'm kind of addicted to the funnel builder. And how do you know this? Because she's getting messages. What do you think if I do this? What do you think? I cannot contain my excitement. She likes it because she knows, you know, it's an exciting time. But 40 plus tools, and I'm not naming companies, but at one point before I found Builderall, $297 a month, and then I had to have email, and that was $65 a month. And basically that was a page builder. Did have membership, and boy, was it fun going through Cloudflare and making sure all the email stuff worked.
So let me tell you guys, there's so many opportunities in Builderall. The biggest issue with Builderall, once you start looking at the 40 plus tools, is thinking, where do I start? What's going to be the place that I start?
Right.
Because there's so many things you could do. I'm excited about the apps. I'm excited about the chat bots. I'm excited about the funnel builder, and so many other things that this is just, honestly, this is the shavings of the tip of the iceberg that you saw today.
So one of the things why Shelly wants you to go to this demo.builderall.com is it takes you through probably how many tools, maybe 20?
Yeah, I think it's about 15 or 20 tools that you're going to see an example of. Just make sure to read that top area of every single page, and it'll tell you what that page is designed to do, and then it'll talk about what it does, and then it'll show you even the tools that are associated with it.
This is Telegram. This is how you use Telegram. This is why you want to use Telegram. This is how it works. Bing, bing, done. I mean, I didn't know much about Telegram or WhatsApp or any of that until I started going through the Builderall tools. And it's like amazing. So guys, I want to welcome you and thank you for watching this demo, but I want to welcome you to Builderall. Please come. We're here to help you. And if you don't know what you're doing, it has tons of training. There's tons of people like us that do lives all the time. Tuesday nights, I mean, it's on my calendar and I watch training over and over. Shelly knows. But guys, come on and have some fun. There's 40 tools. You just pick one. That's what you do. You get started. And I am doing another free training. If you're interested at all, you can sign up. I'll put the link in the comments or I'll just tell you. It's a 3-page funnel build. So you saw how easy it is. But what it is, I got you in a Facebook group so I can really help you. I'm going to make sure that when you leave in 3 days, you have your opt-in or registration form. It takes you to the email confirmation, and then it takes you to the download where you click the button and they download your PDF, whatever it is you want them to do. And you can redirect them to a Facebook page. But I'm there to teach you the little simple things, the little tips and tricks will save you, right, Shelly?
Yep.
Creating templates and panels and elements. Click, 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 done. Duplicating the funnel and going in and just editing the video and maybe some wordage. Boom. It is just Shazam amazing to me.
That's right. That's
so
right.
guys, if you're interested, I would get in right now because we know when November comes, you're going to kick yourself if you decide to join then. It's still going to be totally awesome. But man, $70. That's my buddy Gene in the house. Daddy, double daddy. I used to do a lot of lives with Gene in Builderall, so it's really great to see him. And here's Jane. Jane's on my team. I used to see Jane a lot. So guys, I took a 2-year break because of life, and I came back, and my solid people are still there. By the way, Shelly, when I got up and saw that it was 3 years ago we decided to do that summit, that was one of the most fun things I have ever done in my life. I can tell you this, and we all are still connected. I was gone for 2 years. I walk in and it's like the crazy aunt you can't get rid of is back. So guys, if you have questions, man, put them in the comments. We'll make sure to get to all of them. There's a link if you would like to join. I would get on in this now and join. Let me see. It's funnelchallenge.brennilarson.coach. I will put it in here. It is a free, and I don't like the word challenge, but it was late, and at least I didn't put Shelly down.
Right? Challenges are good to challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. That's
okay.
The way
Thank you. Okay, so there it is. You can join that, guys. And we're gonna, when you leave, you will have a download page built, and you'll have an email list.
Don't miss it. This is the basics, you guys. This is the very basics. If you want an online business, this is how you start, which is create an email list. So she's teaching you how to put some basic pages together so you can start an email list. That's where it all starts.
There you go. Bingo, bango. Shelly, thanks so much for joining me today. I always have fun with you. And she knows there's a summit coming. She knows I can't help it. I just am addicted to summit. They're just really fun. The after party's the best.
They are. They're the best.
Thanks, everybody. Please share this out. Send the people that you know need this, which would be anybody that's online or wants to be online. This is your chance.
Guys, if you join Builderall and you jump into our Facebook groups, just say hi and tag me. I bet you, dollars to donuts, I'll jump in and say hi back.
I'm really hungry. She keeps using all these food things in front of me. Shelly! Barbecue. Bye, guys. Have a blessed day. Go help somebody. And we want to help you, so join us.